it's me, Anthony Couch, a guitarist on YouTube. Today, talking about legato. More specifically, why a lot of people view legato as cheating. I've been playing guitar and teaching guitar for a long time, and it seems that there are comments that you see. People have this opinion that legato, when compared to picking all the notes, is much easier and cheating. And players who are famed for their alternate picking, players like Paul Gilbert and Yngwie Malmsteen and John Petrucci, that they are seen as on a higher level than the players like Joe Satriani and Steve Vai, the ones who are famed for their legato playing. And I want to just start a little bit of a discussion, give my thoughts on it. So before I get going, can you let me know down there in them comments, do you view legato in the same way as being not as genuine? I don't know what word to use really. Not as genuine as picking everything. Is it easier? Is it cheating? Let me know down in those comments. And go into a bit of detail. Let me know why, because I'm going to go off into why I think people think why. Okay, so I've got a couple of reasons why I think it is. Why people have this opinion. Number one is it's viewed as tougher. It's viewed as tougher. To build that coordination for legato, you would pick and then do the left hand stuff. So, and a long melodic line across a string would look like this. Whoops. Something like that, where this hand does relatively minimal work. You don't have to be as coordinated. Your left hand is doing a lot of the heavy lifting. When you've got to build, when you do the alternate picking, you've got to build a bit more coordination, and for every one of those notes, you've got to do a pick. So it does require more two-hand coordination, and I think that a lot of people view that as being tougher, therefore better. I think there's another way of thinking about this. Think about the toughest alternate picked lick that you can, or economy picked lick that you can, and then the toughest legato lick that you could possibly play. They're going to be about the same level. But to play a very similar note for note run on guitar with alternate picking, and then the exact same run with legato, the legato it requires a lot less coordination. So I think that's where a lot of people lose this respect for legato, because you don't push the legato up to beyond, because it does require less coordination. So then don't just play what would be played as alternate picking, but played as legato. Push it further to something that is not possible with alternate picking. The most obvious option there is tapping. That's not really possible with alternate picking, so you have to switch over to legato. Other runs without tapping do exist that are really tough as well. So I think a lot of people, if you're playing the same kind of stuff note for note, legato is going to be a touch easier. Still requires a lot of coordination, but it doesn't require as much. And I think people think it's tougher to do alternate picking. I find it tougher. I need to prove to myself that I can do it. If I can't do it, that must mean that it's better, because I'm self-deprecating and I can only do legato. Legato is tough as well. Just requires a bit less coordination, but you can definitely ramp up that difficulty. So the second reason why I think people have this opinion is they might prefer the sound of alternate picking. So alternate picking sounds different. Going back to this thing, that's legato. Just did one pick. And then compare it to the alternate picking, especially with palm muting or the neck pickup. So it does have a more aggressive sound that people might prefer. Maybe that accounts for it. People just prefer the sound of alternate picking and don't like that softer, looser, more fluid legato sound. Maybe. But then, you know, on the other hand there, to say the flip side is that legato is smoother, more fluid. That's its own technique to be used when you need it. It does deserve respect as a technique, I think, because sometimes you don't want that harsh sound and you want that nice... Whoops, sweaty fingers. You get what I mean. Now, can I look down this camera at your beautiful couch potato faces and say that I've never had these thoughts? You know, I've never seen legato as cheating and alternate picking is the be-all end-all. No, I can't. For a long time in my playing, I had these opinions. The first two that I've already said, that it's tougher so it's better and I prefer the sound. So I get it, I do understand the viewpoint, but over time I've changed my opinion. You don't need to change it, I'm not trying to convince anyone here, I'm just trying to get a bit of a discussion going, because it seems a lot of people are opinionated on this stuff. I do like legato a lot more now, and I do accept it into my playing a lot more, but I love alternate picking still, and I find it fun, and I practice it a lot still. I'm guilty of it a little bit myself, but I definitely don't think that legato is cheating, cheaper, or worse than alternate picking. So the bottom line, in my opinion here, is that both techniques are perfectly good in their own right. That you want aggressive sound, play the alternate picking stuff. You want a nice smooth sound, play the legato stuff. Don't beat yourself up if you want that aggressive sound and you can only do legato. It's not cheating, it's not cheap. You can permute legato and get a very similar result to alternate picking, but that's another thing. Fair enough, you can prefer one over the other, but I don't think it makes the other one cheaper or cheating. And another thing as well, those players famed for their alternate picking, like the ones I mentioned before, you'd be surprised at how many of their licks do incorporate legato. It's all over the place in playing. It's not practical. And I don't think it's a worthwhile goal to aim to pick everything that you play. Maybe in the practice room, it's a nice fun exercise to give yourself, and it is a test in your coordination. But outside of that, in the playing world, just be careful, I suppose. Be careful thinking that one is less than the other, because you're doing it a disservice. Legato, if you think it's cheaper or easier, maybe you should be pushing those legato licks a bit further then. Make those legato licks tough. Then you'll be switching over to alternate picking because you find it easier. Okay, that's all really I can say about this one. I didn't intend on making a video about this, but I read a few comments and it just sparked this video in my mind. Barely play guitar. Yeah, what are your thoughts? I'm interested. Let me know. I'm going to go and practice some legato, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. I need to practice it.